next year that will fall on everyone's shoulders, and that is when they take the census. Now, first time I worked in the census was 1970. The second time was 1980. The third time was 1990. The fourth time, thanks to the Democrats going out of state to Oklahoma and then going to New Mexico, it was delayed a couple of years, but I still got to work for it. I said, this year I'm not going to do it. I'm too angry, not going to do it. And from what Patty said and what she gave me this afternoon, I won't have time. But they start testing people in 2 years before the time. In other words, 2008, they already started testing them. The testing sites are still open, and they will start having them in certain areas, every area. Matter of fact, I had 9 counties that I had to cover. But very important, if you think and you want to believe the Democrat newspaper here and the Democrat reports and all of the things that stand up, that, oh, that 2000 census was horrible. Ask anybody to show you the 1990 census. My daughter lives in Denton. My husband's brother lives in Amarillo. They shared the same representative. Now you tell me how fair that is. I mean, this is the way it is, and that's just minor compared to a lot of the other ways that the Democrats had changed it. And only in 2000 did the Republicans be in charge of it. And yeah, there's a couple of them that doesn't look real good. Yeah, there's some people that lost their things, but it put some counties back together again. In 1960, West Texas is, my husband was born out there, and he says he has problems down here because you can't see the scenery for trees, and out there you can see the scenery for miles, hundreds, maybe even 1,000. And the reason why is because it's above tree line, and therefore when it's above tree line you can't have any trees. Because we went to Alaska and their tree line was at 3,000 feet. So you just go out to Midland, Odessa, 3,000 feet, no trees. Midland County and Ector County, Midland, Odessa, were together up until 1960. After that, they were split in a way that you wouldn't believe how they got apart. In 2002, they got put back together again, where they need to be because you have such few people living out there except in certain areas. You need that. When she talked about going to the Republican convention, 1964 was a big year for Texas, and we went to the Republican convention, and a lot of them went to California for the for the national convention. They took a lot of the things that they used in the oil fields and things like that, walkie-talkies. First time it had ever been used at a state convention, national convention. Half of the audience would say, "Viva!" and the other half would say, "Ole!" Because there's a lot of Hispanics and Spanish in our country, at least the southern part, southwestern part. But this coming year, if the Democrats will stay in the state, and we might be able to have the counting, and President Obama has it planned on how he wants it counted. They had a man that came to the county commissioner's court, and that's something else you ladies need to do. Go to your city council if you live inside the city limits, or if you live in Como and they have a meeting, you need to go to it, or Arbela. Go to it. But you also, all of you, pay county taxes. Go to the Commissioner's Court. They meet on the 2nd and 4th Mondays at 10 a.m. It's very interesting. You will learn a lot. And you happen to have one representative up there in our courthouse that sits on that place with 3 Democrat commissioners and a Democrat county judge, and a Democrat county clerk, and a Democrat, what is she called? Yeah, an auditor. She's not elected, she's hired, but she is a Democrat. You need to go up there and be a presence. You would be surprised what you can do when you go to these meetings. Go to your school board meeting. You definitely, and I'll tell you some other meeting you need to go to, and that's the hospital board meeting. That shakes them up if you come up there. They have a room, and it's a huge table. They have food like you wouldn't believe. And they come up there and they eat. They have all these ladies, and I don't know what they all do. Or they're not elected, but they're there. And they eat, and then they say, oh, what do you want to talk about? Why are you up here? And then you say, well, I wanted to hear what's going on. And you sit down. Well, you're not allowed to talk anymore or anything else unless you get on the thing. One year we did. There was about 15, I think, who didn't like what the taxes were done. And it shook them up, really. But that's good. They need to stop and think that they are elected for our benefit, for our grandchildren, for my great-grandchildren. I mean, that 3 trillion, billion, whatever thing, my great-great-great-grandchildren are still going to be paying for that. So we've got to help starting getting these rocks out of the way so that they won't have to walk over all of the taxes and things that they won't be able to have what we did when we were growing up and we started families. But this census is important. And if you've got the time, you need to go and take a test. If you use common sense, you can take it. You do great. I aced mine. So, you know, if I can do it, I know you can do it. But it is great. And if the people start seeing that you care and why you care, and you write your letters to your congressman and to the state house down here so Texas will be divided the way it should be, then you will be surprised at how much better things will be, because we can, together, we can do it. Divided, the Democrats are going to win.
Thank you, Evelyn. Are there any questions about writing letters to the editor or calling your elected officials? Any question whatsoever? Do you have all of the information that you need? Then you're all going to do it? Well, that's all I have to say, and I thank you for voting for me as president, and I hope that we just make a real dent in informing people. That's the basic thing, is informing people. If you write letters to the editor, someone will ask a question. That's good. Did you have something to say?
I do. I just want to encourage everybody. I don't think I need to come up there, but we as Christians are led by Spirit. And anything you do when you represent the Republican Party, I encourage you to do with integrity. Don't do this nee-nee-nee-ha-ha, because you're going to they'll walk away. Otherwise, you're going to make an impression on them. And that comes from God. And that's what we want for our nation, is God. Because Obama is anti-America. And we were founded on God's principles. So be sure and glorify God in everything you do. And
one other thing thank you, that I'd like to say is, I know that Obama has gone all over the world to all of these nations talking America down, saying that we are not a Christian nation. I wonder, does he like America? I resent that, because no other president in history has ever done that. And so, you know, I just pray that we will all feel inspired to write our letters, to contact our contact our legislator and let them know how we feel. And I'll see you July 20th. Dismissed.